Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dropped Frames. JP McDaniel, joined as always by Ezekiel III and Coh's replacement, also known as Better Coh in some parts.
I'm Better Coh.
It's Jericho. You see what we did there? He's the Jerry's of Coh or something. That's all I can make. There's no other jokes with that name. Zeke, you got any jokes with Jericho?
I didn't even make that connection. That Better Coh, Jericho.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Jericho, best Coh.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds better. That's got a better ring to it. Our guest this week is none other. He's been on the show before. We had him on, I think it was around the time you were doing the H1Z1 stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Which was like years ago.
Many years.
Yeah, many moons ago. But, of course, everyone's been playing his new game. He basically sponsored all of the PAX East festivities for everyone. So we figured we'd bring him on and talk about the game. Because I've been playing it. I know Jericho's been playing it. Zeke hasn't checked it out, but it's really not his cup of tea. So that's just par for the course.
Well, yeah. I just think it's apropos that the drinking and partying is sponsored by an Irish guy.
That's true. And also, here's a great thing. You partook in all of the partying. Me and Jericho did not because we were not at East. Jerry, you didn't go to East, right?
No. I skipped out.
Yeah, we skipped out. So you got to tell us about the parties first off before you even talk about the damn game, Zeke. How were the parties?
The parties were fantastic. I was not invited to any player-unknown functions, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
I looked through my emails, and I thought we were friends. Apparently, we're not friends.
Wow.
Yeah, friends play each other's games, you know.
Dude,
shit.
I played your previous two games or your previous big. I played Arma 3 a lot, and then I played. What's that?
That's great.
That's not yours.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It is yours though, right? I'm not stupid. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I played that, and I played the first iterations of H1Z1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not playing my new game, so.
His new game.
Well,
yeah.
I just haven't played this one because it seems like I would, I would go up against nothing but tryhards, and I would not have a good time at all.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's exactly what would happen. Yeah.
That's exactly what would happen. Yeah. We'll get to that soon. I want to talk to player known. So you just how did it come upon the fact that you decided to sponsor the entirety of PAX East? Everywhere that I looked, it seemed, in pictures that I saw at least, maybe I was just following the right people. Everyone was talking about your game and how you were sponsoring X activity. So how did that all come happen? How did that make sense?
We have a communications manager, Sammy, or Poopy Queen on Twitter, and she just looks after most of the marketing and sponsorship opportunities. And yeah, it was we were kind of shocked as well, the amount of people that were talking about us at PAX East. It was a pleasant surprise.
Were you on the show floor at all?
Yeah, we had a small booth down with our partners in the US and Mass. So yeah, we're down kind of towards the back of the hall.
Okay.
But yeah, we're pretty busy. We had a queue for key giveaways, which is always good.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of foot traffic coming through the booth and everything.
Oh yeah, we were busy pretty much all the time. It was great.
That's good. So, follow-up question: how much does it cost to sponsor a Twitch party? We're just gonna get straight.
These things. It's money. It costs money.
It costs money. A value of money.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's all we're getting. Good answer. We're testing your PR skills. So far, they're on point. We need to do it.
It cost me 100,000. Just nod at me if I'm getting close.
Zeke, we're also hearing ourselves again through your mic, but we need to do a Drop Frames Twitch party. We'll get Jericho to fund it all.
Yeah, I'll just reach into my coffers.
Here's what
throw
we do.
Money at the screen.
We do a Drop Frames Twitch party, but Jericho pays for it with his YouTube revenue. That's fucking
Holy shit.
That's fucking great.
Everybody gets one bottle of water because that's all I can afford with that.
That's great. Maybe we'll get the Drop Frames Twitch party for an hour. And then that's it. That's it.
Can we time share the Twitch party so Drop Frames gets the first 30 minutes and then somebody else takes over the bar tab, you know?
We could. We might be able to.
Yeah, let's get 1:30 till 2 a.m. So that's like after last call, and we
Okay.
don't have to pay for shit.
Great. I'm into it. I'm into it. Did you do any panels or anything like that at PAX East? Because PAX East, I feel like we were talking about, your name was everywhere. Zeke saw it everywhere. In fact, that's why you're on the show, because he was like, man, PlayerUnknown was just everywhere at East. Everywhere I turned, I saw Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown, blah, blah, blah. We should get him on the show. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm just curious, like,
Made a panel with I was going to do one with Brian Hicks and a guy that modded in Arc, but we didn't get time to book it. They were booked up. They get so many requests for panels.
yeah. What did you guys do? Anything? You had some private meetings, I'm sure. You sponsored the PAX party.
Yeah. I had press all day, and then on Sunday we did kind of a private mixer for about 100 like friends and streamers and players and stuff, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Basically just Mexican food and good people.
That's always good. That's always good.
Free
times.
cocktails.
Everybody knows that Boston's well known for their Mexican food, so
I know. It was great Mexican food, really.
It was good. Wow. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to hear that. Well, let's talk about the game a little bit. It seems to be going pretty well. You're in I think 3 weekends have happened so far.
Yeah, so we're doing like closed beta at the moment. Next weekend is the final weekend of closed beta. And then we're going to wait, I think, a week and then go to early access on the 23rd of March.
Okay.
But we've been really happy. I've been watching it the last few weekends on Twitch, and it's been really stable. Like before we went into closed beta, I was watching people play it in the office and playing it myself, and I was quietly confident it was okay. And then finally seeing people play it on Twitch last weekend, it just massive sense of relief that it was like, okay, everything's stable and working, and it seems to be quite solid. And because we're going into early access kind of as a beta, it means we get to spend the next 6 months really like tweaking the optimization and then really trying to improve performance for everyone.
Jericho, we're watching you play a little bit. You want to talk about your experiences with the game before I throw the curveballs at or not the curveballs, the hard balls, I guess.
So I guess like not much has changed since last week. So I mean, we talked about this last week. You guys had just made the update. That was the first weekend of duos, and then we were doing. I think we had some like parachute changes, like some general like quality of life changes. I played another 8 or actually I played 12 hours this last weekend. I'm really enjoying the pacing of it a lot more than I thought I would. I played solo entirely this weekend because all my friends were at East and I was alone. Yeah, I won my first game. That felt rewarding. I think I got like 6 kills in there. And I routinely got matched up with better players. There were some interesting terrain bugs. I got stuck 3 straight games back to back to back, falling in like a hole that like I couldn't climb out of. And my car, like getting stuck in my car, fall damage, like general beta early access stuff. But I was like cracking up because it was right after each other. I was like, this one I'm getting top 10, immediately fall into a hole, and I'm like, oh no. So yeah, I had a lot of fun this weekend. Again, I still think that it's more fun with a duo just because of the pacing of the game is a lot slower, and it's more tactical. So I like talking to somebody about my bad decisions, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Good game, and definitely exceeded my expectations for the first 3 weeks. So whatever you guys change or tweak for the final week and then the early access, I'm really interested in.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is, like, our executive producer has said, like, he wants to, over early access, not to add huge amounts of new features and just focus on improving the service and improving performance for everyone, which is great to hear.
That's cool.
You mentioned executive producer. We should probably take a step back. You're the creative director of the game.
Yeah.
How did where did that conversation start, that you started working with the folks that made an MMO to create this game?
Yeah, so I got an email from the executive producer, Cheng Yang, and he said he always wanted to create a Battle Royale game. And I get a lot of emails from people wanting to make games and stuff, but this one kind of rang true. He talked about modding. He talked about, like, the scope of the project was kind of what I wanted from a standalone game. So went to Korea, spent a week out there, talked with their team, saw the concept art they'd done. At the end of that, it was just like, okay, let's make a game together. Very thankful I said yes. They're like, I mean, the team they're insane. They work 14-hour days easily, like especially coming up to crunch. And they've such quality or attention to detail, and they really want to make it the best looking game they can, which is what I've always wanted for any kind of battle royale game.
Right. Yeah, the graphics definitely. Obviously, performance is something that comes last. I think in most dev houses, that's just how games are made.
Yeah.
But the game definitely, if you crank it up, it still runs pretty well.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better. I mean, there's some things we need to do that literally take months to actually implement because there's such like basic changes to the engine. But I'm really happy with the way it looks. Like the rainy weather setting is looking great.
Super
really
pretty, by the way.
Right. I mean, they've done a really good job at making stuff just pop, and we have more. We want to use those 2 weather settings to provide more weather settings still. Foggy rounds, hopefully snow if we can find a way to do it that doesn't eat the servers alive.
Right.
But yeah.
That's dope. I like the weather setting is one of the things that I was like, oh, like this. You get kind of bored playing the same map over and over again. Like I had 900 hours into H1 before they changed the map. And I stopped playing like 3 months prior to that because I was like, bro, I'm so tired of running around to the same spots and just seeing the same scenery. But what is it, like a 1 in 10 chance you get the rain? Yeah, every time you do that, it dramatically changes how you play because it's hard to hear footsteps now. So it's almost like a completely different game experience. I mean, obviously, still same map, but like your render distance seems, or not the render distance, your vision, whatever it's fucking called, the distance you can see.
The view.
Yeah, the view distance is cut down because it's raining. So you have a lot more close quarters combat and you can't hear people as well. So I fucking love that you guys have weather at the start, like from day one, that functions and doesn't destroy my computer. Because that was the other thing. It's rain. Like I'm afraid to do anything that adds more particle effects because it makes the stream look bad and it makes my computer die. But this does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not too heavy, so it's kind of light on. But yeah, I can understand rain. Yeah, with video compression is not good.
Yeah,
anyway,
sometimes not the best, definitely, especially when it's super crazy rain. In the development process, what was kind of I think when people talk about this game, the best way that I've heard it described is 70% arcade / H1Z1 style of gameplay, and sorry, I think that's the other way around. 70% Arma and 30% H1Z1 is kind of how people are describing this game. Was that kind of where you were going for in terms of the second to second gameplay?
Yeah, that was kind of, we were aiming somewhere in the middle of Arma and H1, but more with an Arma tilt. Excuse me. And I think we've got it. I mean, we have the realistic gunplay and even down to some of the reloads and stuff like that. They're really detailed, but the overall kind of gameplay, it's easy to get into. It is still tough to learn, and there is that skill ceiling there about learning the different levels of armor and actually looting correctly during the early part of the round. But I'm happy that it feels easy to play, but yeah, as I said, hard to master.
And then the actual gunplay of the game, I think, is coming out of the gate pretty strong. What improvements are you guys looking to change to it, or change anything at this point?
We're just going to balance it. I mean, really, we have for each weapon, we've got something like 100 different variables we can set regarding crosshair and kick and all these kind of stuff. The guy that set up the gunplay, he's an ex-CSGO player, and he's very comfortable with sort of getting a good weapon meta there. So we're just going to tweak it to make everything feel good. Same with the sounds. We're just going to tweak it over the coming 6 or so months to really make everything shine.
I mean, it's. I think Tucker can agree. It's getting pretty close. Like it feels pretty good for the most part of the game, apart from just the random bugs that really don't have anything to do with the actual gunplay. But like the long range shots, you have to adjust for drop. It's not. In a game like H1Z1, which I've played, I think me and Tucker have both played a ton of, like, sometimes a headshot will occur to you and you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. I never got that feeling when I was playing Battlegrounds where it was like, well, that doesn't make sense why he just killed me. Most of the time, and like 99% of the time when I died, it was because he was a better shot and I just was fucking terrible at aiming. Like, that's what it came down to 99% of the time.
Well, that's the other thing that I brought up last week was that because the attachments and there's so many variables for each gun, you could have the same weapon, but be leagues better off when, like right now I've got a UMP. Like, the fuck am I going to do with a UMP here? And I have an M4 with a 4x scope. So, like, there could be a guy with a regular M4, which is usually called, like, it's the best AR in the game. And if he's got iron sights, it's like looking through Poseidon's asshole. It's like a little circle and you can't see anything. But I'm going to win the fight 9 times out of 10 because I've got the better sight, longer range, etc. It just feels like there's more variables to it that are outside of just getting the first shot or just being, I don't know. I feel like I could take out somebody better than me just by the nature of having a slight advantage with my loot. So I really appreciate that as a bad player because I fucking suck. But
I'm just wondering how you pulled Poseidon out of the whole pantheon of gods, like because he's a watery guy, or
it's a trident-looking crosshair in a circle.
Oh, okay. There is a correlation there, though. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't. It wasn't random.
I didn't just Greek god number 1. It's like Prometheus. I don't know if that's a god. Like, yeah.
He brought fire to us. He was the one who gave humans fire.
That also could work. All that Mexican food. Prometheus's asshole.
Wait, are you just killing AFK people here, Tucker? What the hell?
No, that guy was actually in a gunfight with somebody over there on the left. So I ran up behind him, and he was shooting at somebody. And like I said, it's hard to hear because it's raining. And then I just tapped him twice in the head, or I hit him once, I think, but in the chest. And it was like that. The blood splatter is huge. I like that because H1 just puts a hit marker. It's nice, but sometimes I wouldn't have known I hit a guy behind a car without that hit marker. With the blood splatter, I feel like it does give you the sense of like, oh, that guy's hurt. But it's not like I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm being gifted knowledge that I wouldn't already have. So if there's somebody behind a tree and I hit him, I might not see the blood splatter as much or at all. Versus H1, I know immediately I hit him. So it adds that like a little bit more realism, a little bit more intensity, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, when we were setting up this game, I kind of wanted it sort of in a pulp universe that everything was a little bit bigger, like the explosions are a bit bigger, blood splatters are a little bit bigger,
right.
A little bit more just violent, and in the way it happens. It just adds fun. It gives you that sense you're in a movie sometimes.
Well, there's like a happy medium between you can go hard edge realism and have your weapon jam maybe. And like there's a point, a line of best fit where it's like not fun anymore because it's too realistic. So you got to skirt that line and pick and choose. Like we want realistic gunplay, but we got to give the user something. We can't just have them get shot and see nothing, no feedback, at all. Because you're not gonna. I shoot somebody in the leg. There's not gonna be like. It looks like somebody just got chainsawed. There's blood everywhere behind them, and it's like, oh, okay.
What a question for you in terms of the development process. You worked on so many games, and I think you've watched a lot of Twitch, so you've got a pretty good idea of, as a developer, what you think should be in the game, and you've got a pretty good idea as people that play your game what they think should be in the game. So where did that like come into play when you were creating this game, and what should be there and what shouldn't be there? What did you take from different experiences, and what did you take from different streams that you've watched?
I mean, so we have really active, especially we opened up our testing phase in pre-alpha, and since our early alpha, we've had people stream and play the game, and they've gone to the forums and left feedback, and it's mainly about, stuff like people talking about recoil. The first recoil system we had in was terrible. You couldn't manage to figure it out at all. So
bad.
It was, oh God. But people gave us feedback telling us get rid of it or change it, and stuff like that was really invaluable. And the way the weapons felt, that's really sort of the main feedback we got. We had some suggestions like letting people choose where to parachute, or where they want to parachute over the island. And I initially thought I always wanted to start people at the same position because I thought it was fairer. But we tried it the first weekend it closed beta, and it worked really well. I mean, people, are now more spread out over the island, and it gives you more time to loot at the start. And because we've had so many Arma 3 fans and H1 fans, they all want me to copy each game. So it's like, no, just make basically a clone of Arma or make a clone of H1. Just so you having to sort of push back with that as well, and kind of say, well, no, listen, we're not trying to clone either. We're trying to make our own game, and we don't have to change very much because the formula works. You know, it was just adding our own, you know, especially the loot and a few other systems we've added just to add a bit more complexity to it. But you know, again, it's the system works, so why try to fix it?
Right.
I,
Right.
I like how you found the one game that I actually won. You found the specific gameplay, so I actually win this game.
Dude, Zeke can attest to it. I have an uncanny ability to find the perfect spot in VODs no matter what.
Yeah,
it's
I think
complete.
that-
It's complete happenstance. It's not like I zone in on it. It's like, nope, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
click right here.
That was that.
No,
You
that
literally
one,
got like, what'd you say?
That one like split second where it was like seriously like maybe a second and a half where I accidentally bent over, my butt crack was showing. He's like, let's see what's on the VOD. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yep. Sorry
Dude,
about that.
I got a question. So in this game, one of the bigger complaints that I had, which I understand why you do this, you start out, for those who haven't played, you start out in a plane. In the plane, there are 3 of them. They fly in a direct line somewhere over the map in a straight line, one after the other. The way that the parachuting works and the way that you skydive, you basically have a highly concentrated line directly in the like wherever the planes have flown, and then almost nobody outside. Was there a reason that you decided to have 3 separate planes flying over where the people who are in the back plane have a disadvantage versus 3 planes doing 3 different trajectories? You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that wasn't initially designed. That's the model of the C-130. It was just badly designed on the interior, so we didn't have enough seats. But we were after redoing the model, so now you'll have one plane.
Oh,
The plane will fly in, and that
that's
just
actually really funny. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
No,
cool.
it was just we got the model and looked inside and was like, there's no, half the inside was used, so we just extended it out. One of the artists extended it out, and now we have 100 people on a plane. So
Okay.
need that voice, boys.
What was the in are there conversations about perhaps changing it in terms of forcing a parachute at a fixed altitude? Because that's one thing that when I
There
started.
is one.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like it forces you to parachute once you get to a certain point. And obviously, I played a shit ton of Arma. That definitely wasn't the case back then. So is there?
No.
Did you want to make it so no matter what, everyone can get on the ground and fight? Is that kind of the design behind that?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there's more changes coming to that. I mean, what we want to do is that there'll be like a very low limit that your chute will automatically deploy at. But if you just let that happen, you'll land and lose maybe 90% of your health.
Okay,
You won't
that'd
be
be cool.
dead. But
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, because we want to give that sort of parachute and landing game some kind of meaning. And we could be adding in that if you land too hard and smash into the ground, you'll do some damage as well, just to try to, you know, make people land a bit better. But
Yeah.
again, you don't want to be too harsh on that, you know, especially for new players. They're coming in and they don't really understand what's going on, and then they die. So
Totally.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything like that jumps to mind after playing for a while. There's nothing that like really jumps to mind that I'm like, this is a glaring change that needs to happen. All of them are like quality of life or like incremental things that you may or may not tweak depending on what your vision of the game is. But one thing that I did think was kind of funny is in H1 and most battle royales, your strat is to dive bomb straight to the ground as fast as possible. In this game, swear on my life, look straight up and go as far as possible, because if I just keep flying, there's nobody around me.
Yeah.
And I routinely land as far away as possible, and I come into a fight, 50 people left, and I've got 2 ARs, and I'm fully looted, fully geared, and I feel like a god. Everybody's running around with a shotgun still, like, this is all I could find. So
Yeah,
I think
that's-
it's kind of funny.
That's one thing
kinda
that,
cool.
that happened to with me when I was playing, is that I was doing exactly what Jericho just said. I would get out of the plane basically when everyone else would get on the plane. I'd land in a very congested area, and one guy would get the AR, everyone else would get the pistols, and the guy that got the AR or the shotgun would pretty much always win. So for you, player unknown, is that something that is that how you guys want the game to play out, or do you want a different sort of balance there, where maybe there is more population of guns at all spots? Like, there's got to be a give and take there, because if you put too many guns in, then everyone gets a fucking gun, and then it's like why even collect loot in the first place? But if you take everything away, then one person gets the gun, and the idea of randomness kind of comes into play. That can be kind of frustrating for a player when they're like, fuck, I've only found a pistol, and that guy next to me in this room that I'm camping out from that I can't move has a shotgun or an AR just pointed at the door.
Right.
So what in your mind, what is kind of the best possible scenario for that, or the best case?
Well, we'll be balancing loot over the next, as I said, like 6 months once we get lots more data. But like ideally, you do want that kind of idea of tension at the start, where you may not find the best weapon you can straight away. But now, because we allow people to jump wherever they want on the island, it allows people to spread out so much more. And the chance, like as Jericho said, if you just run away from people and find this, there's houses everywhere on the island, so that you're bound to get loot if you do it correctly. And it's kind of what I always wanted for Battle Royale was that at the start, it's meant to be that kind of frantic looting and then fighting more mid and end game in the circles rather than, doing all your fighting at the start.
Yeah, that was the other
sense.
thing, because the fighting in H1 is pretty linear, and that to me wasn't that's why I like it and why I don't like it. I like H1 when I want to play and just go forever, but most of my time in H1 is spent after the first 5 minutes of looting. I get my AR and my shotgun immediately. Everybody is pretty much guaranteed to get one of those weapons or a usable weapon. And then from there on out, your game plan is here, gunshots, go there, shoot. It's like looking for players versus this one. I think it's because of all the attachments and shit that you can do to your weapon. It feels more full. Like I feel like I set a goal to go to this little collection of houses. If it's not looted, I'll go through and loot it. I feel like I spend more time doing, I don't want to say looting because that kind of off-puts people. It's not like I spend all my time running through houses. It's that I feel the need to continuously look for things while also looking for players. So it fills the space that normally would be in a car looking for people with, oh, maybe I'll just really quickly check in here. I still need a hollow sight. Like, I don't have one. Let me just run around really quickly, find that one. Oh, I hear gunshots. I need this fucking hollow sight. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that part. The attachments, yeah.
Yeah, that was my intention, that you can learn the game. Like you go in as a new player, and once you learn the attachment system, and it's not overly complex, it's a pretty simple attachment system, but there's lots of various ways you can mod your gun. So the more you play it, the more you learn that the game you can get better at it if you're smart about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has been answered yet, but I just you use a UE4, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm just wondering why you picked that one.
It's one of the better engines out there that we can use. I mean, it's itself Unity, which is a great engine as well, and they're and CryEngine, which again is awesome. But the team just had experience with Unreal, so we went with UE4 because that's where their base of resources
That's what they
were
use
from.
for Terra, right? Terra is based off UE4, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I want to say it is. Chat will let us know because they know everything, those chat guys. But they will confirm, because I do remember when Terra launched, whenever that was. Terra's an MMO for those that aren't aware. One of the first things, besides all the lolly children running around, and I do mean lolly children running around, it looked really good, and I think it was because it was an Unreal Engine game, if not UE4. But yeah, I think that
UE3.
it was UE3. Okay, that makes sense. Just the next step up.
Yep.
This game, one thing that I will say with it running UE4, and you'll probably confirm this, but the ability to scale down and scale up is so wide. If you put this game on low, it looks like dog shit, but it runs very well.
Hell yeah.
If you put this game on high, it runs okay once you get into like a secluded area and you're not up all the way high, loading the entire map. Like, it runs pretty okay. You can get, 40 to 60 FPS at 1440p on a 1080 Ti, because that's what I have. But I'm only thinking, or I would like to believe that the high end of the game, the best graphics for the game, are only going to improve over time, right? Because of how well that engine scales.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I want everyone playing Ultra. But we want to really even improve the low end, so that the more we improve performance, the more we can improve how the low end looks. Because I see a lot of especially the esports guys playing on everything on very low, and like,
Yeah, that's what I
everything
was
low,
doing.
no shadows.
Yeah,
Well,
I would
if anybody's
do
curious-
shadows and fuck. Well, I forgot what the other.
foliage.
And what?
Foliage.
Yeah,
So
and
grass.
foliage on low, and then everything else about high or medium, and it ran 60 to 90 in most areas.
I
Yeah.
can get 60 on ultra everything without streaming on my Titan X with, my monster build. I'm streaming, locally recording, and playing at 60 on medium with textures on high. That's what you're watching right now. So, I mean, you can tell, like, it's kind of funny when you're in the loading area and like the gravel looks like Play-Doh, but then, you don't see that texture almost anywhere, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can, I play
This is-
H1 on medium too, but that's because I need to, or else I get shot at by somebody who has no shadows on. This, I'm happy to say, like, I don't want to turn off anything. The game would look like, if I turn off shadows, this game would look weird as hell. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not. I don't know.
Well,
I'm happy that you're gonna obviously optimize it,
And-
but it looks pretty good for medium.
that was one of the things too that was very striking when I booted this game up. After the last BR game that I played was H1Z1, and when you walk around in that world, you kind of start to notice that everything's a little cookie cutter. Like, there's a house, and then there's copy pasted versions of that house, and that's kind of what is in that world. There, you've got like a base structure, and then you've got about 100 more of those just around the map. From the majority of what I could tell, like, every little area that I happened upon, whether it was kind of the submerged city in one of the areas, or the ruins in one of the other areas when I would parachute down, like, they were pretty diverse, and they were also filled with just nonsense that made it difficult to, in a good way, difficult to see, like, oh, there's a gun on the ground, or oh, there's a gun part on the ground. Like, there's a lot of clutter. It's not barren. The world actually feels like it was lived in at one time.
Which is, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's pretty much thought.
I was gonna say, because you just reminded me, which is a good and bad thing. I
Totally.
find that I take longer time in houses to loot because there's not the visual distinction between nothing on the ground, bright orange magazine, or fucking ammo on the ground. It's all looks pretty realistic. So that was one of the things I felt could speed up some of the slower play styles of the game where you just spend time looting. Is if I can run in there and glance around and go, I think that's a hollow, let me run over there. I don't know, white outline, something like that. It would be, it's like a small quality of life change. But it's
Yeah.
not like,
Oh, no, we intend to do things like that. Like, we know that
Right.
it's still quite hard to see stuff indoors, and the highlight we have on it is a little bit light at the moment. So, these are all, again, quality of life things that we will improve to make it, because looting is a little bit slow at the moment. And,
Yeah.
even now you see some people just open up open up the inventory and
that's
walk
what I
away.
do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you can't move in circles though. You can only move straight lines, right? With tab, is that correct? Yeah.
You
yeah.
can move around. No, you can
Oh, you
move
can?
around pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, because
So
I was
I'll
having
open up
issues. I would
and
hit tab, and
straight.
I could only walk in like straight lines from what I was understanding. So that's what I would
Maybe
line
so.
up in a room, hit tab, and then just run straight through it, unhit tab, turn. Yeah, just that was my process of looting over time.
I think the final only quality feedback that I could give is I wish that every attachment, like a vertical versus angled foregrip, had a little blurb explaining what it does to the weapon or how it benefits you. Which
Yeah.
I know, I guarantee there's been a million people requesting that. But I'm
Totally.
like, which one is better? I don't fucking know. Like one looks
we
cooler.
will add those kind of descriptions as the game gets more
Awesome.
complete. Yeah, that's all polished. And stuff like the jumping system at the moment is on hold. That's why it's so floaty and a little bit terrible. But because we want to put in like the jumping, vaulting, and climbing mechanics, kind of like Battlefield 1, that sort of just you press spacebar and your character just goes over the obstacle in front of you.
Yes,
So
please.
like we did the mocap reveal on Twitch at PAX East showing the takedowns. At the very end, we just teased the guy jumping on top of quite a high building.
Who the fuck do you think is gonna get that close? By the way, to take
I
down.
actually caught that shit. That was pretty sick. That little demo of whatever the mocap stuff was pretty sweet. I also wanted to ask you, how do I get to do that? I want to do that.
I want to.
You want to be the
Because
mocap guy?
you want all body types, right? You want all kinds of body types. I'm like, like kind of tube shaped all the way down.
I can tell you from experience, like watching them do it for 8 hours, I don't know how they do it. I mean, they're both like super fit athletes, but it's so tiring. My God, like
Just
they're
doing the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah.
in these kind of like basically lycra suits with
Yeah.
just are warm and hot, and yeah,
Yeah.
not a nice job.
Doesn't sound like too much fun, Zeke. But maybe like 5 minutes might be fun. Maybe if Zeke can.
Well, if I'm the guy on the ground just getting stomped, I can do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. Hey, this is that submerged city that I was talking about, which created some interesting fights for me. Just because
the
how the
little
levels work.
terrain change.
They've spent some time getting some really unique areas around the island that kind of we can finish in that it's a good and as well, like when we were planning this island, it was not just for Battle Royale, because we have all the modding and all that kind of stuff coming to the game. We wanted to provide an island that would be useful for so many other game modes other than Battle Royale.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice.
I wanted to ask. I think that I'm hearing myself again, Zeke. I think that that this style of game, that the BR games have definitely created a group of very jaded gamers. Myself probably being one of them, in the sense that you look at kind of what BR has done and the style of BR, the style of games that BR is shipped with. It has started out early access. The game eventually, does a little bit of upgrades, a little bit of updates. And then it goes fully live, and they rely on the idea of, at least games in the past with Arma and then H1Z1 have definitely relied on like streamers to kind of push that game. I think that's kind of been the main push for all of that. So how much of are you seeing of people saying like, well, I don't want to spend, I believe it's $30 is what it's going to be I don't want to drop $30 on something that kind of resembles everything that we've already seen in this world in terms of being so early and so alpha and so beta and so just the same that we've seen in terms of development process. What do you say to the person that has that type of feeling about these type of games?
Well, I mean, our development process, we've tried to keep it as open as possible. You check out our dev blog and our Twitter, and we share pretty much everything we do, from its early concept to like a finished project. And we've shown through the beta and the alpha stages that like we're continually updating. And like the team we have, when he says it'll be done in 6 months after early access, he's not lying.
Sure.
He will beat people with the big wooden stick to make sure it's done. No, I mean, they really have this very strong commitment to delivering like a well-made game. It's like their studio motto is just to make a well-made game that it's something you can be proud of. It's when you're spending $30, you're not just getting just another battle royale game. It's a fully moddable platform. We'll have custom games for partners and other players, basically, where you can create your own game mode based on our settings, and then and lots of other things like the ranking system with leaderboards, which we'll have, like you'll be able to get ranking servers or ranked servers to set up your own leagues and stuff like that, and in-game replays with cameras for content creators and stuff. We've lots of
There's a lot more.
That
is
sounds
kind of what you're promising.
Yeah, I mean, there's like we have a pretty good roadmap for this year of stuff we want to add. We want to add like a new map. We have an idea for a new map. So once this one's complete, we'll move on to that one and keep going all next year or all this year.
Is that something that you guys were definitely cognizant of while developing this game and continue to be cognizant of? Is the false hopes that that DayZ and H1Z1 have kind of instilled within the community of like, for the long, I think it finally happened. It did happen finally this year, but H1Z1 was just like, yeah, we're gonna have a second map, and we're gonna put in snow, and we're gonna do like all this stuff, and then like a lot of the things that they said they were gonna do, it just never happened, and it pissed a lot of people off, and I think it made a lot of people very apprehensive to jump into these type of games because of that. So is that something you guys were cognizant of? Oh,
for sure. I mean, I was a bit worried about doing early access, with our game because of, the somewhat bad reputation it's got due to like a lot of games. And I mean, a lot of it's not their own fault, that they have technology restrictions, or in the case of like DayZ, they're building a new game engine. It's not just a game, and it takes these things years to build. But that's why with our development process, we wanted to really keep it open and kind of show you how long it takes to do things. Like there's a thing we want to do for performance called shadow caching, which caches shadows, funnily enough. But that would take our rendering engineer like 2 months of just him working on it alone and nothing else. That
Right.
some of these they take huge amounts of time to push little things. So I think there's like early access is a bad name, but it's not a bad process. We're going to really use it to tweak and balance the game, and that'll be invaluable.
I think to maybe expand on that, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it has been maybe used as a bad process in the past, or has been misled to a lot of the communities with the idea of tacking early access on. It kind of puts an end date just off in the distance somewhere. The promise of an end date is in the nether. We're not really going to talk about that, but we're working on this right now, but we don't know when we're ever going to get to that, right? I think that's definitely something that has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Oh, for sure. As we've said, 6 months. That's it. Maybe a touch longer, but 6 months, or I'll buy you all drinks.
Well, I don't.
Done.
I
Deal.
mean, this sounds great to us, but I don't know if the rest of the community is going to be.
Fuck the community. Get a free drink. I want you to miss that deadline. Disappoint.
That's 5,400 or 5,500 drinks, brah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, he just did for the Twitch party, so
Buy my
you're good.
game and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a circle of life. It's a circle of
Buy
life.
my game. Buy my game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited about the modability. Like that's awesome. That and the the customization and ability to create your own mini games inside of the currently existing platform is really interesting to me. If I can create a private server and do viewer BRs, obviously, that's like top of the list for most streamers. But I mean, even to a smaller extent, if you let me, restrict map to one city, everybody's in there, 25 people, and everybody has an AR off start, and it's just like a death match in your game. Yeah, awesome. Like that, those ideas and the modding community always help push your game further because they're going to be doing shit, that your team is not going to be able to work on or doesn't have time, whatever. So that alone got me really excited when you guys announced that. So I hope that people, knock on wood, take advantage of that and make some cool shit, because I want to play as like Homer Simpson running through. I want to do some weird stuff.
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
no, we have Unreal Dev Kits, so, Jesus, the weirdness will come, don't worry. But it's also like when we were designing the map, that the underground bunker area we have, the reason I put that in was because I remember from Delta Force Black Hawk Down, there were modded maps with just tunnels, and you'd have basically LMG fights in these small tunnels with like 40 people coming either end of the tunnel trying to mow down each other to get a little bit further up. And that was fun. And I wanted to provide areas for people to do things like this because,
that sounds wild.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, why not though, really?
Someone in the chat was asking, do you know or can you share the development team size on Battlegrounds?
We have about 35 people based in Korea, and then we worked with about 5 different freelancers. We have the skin system and character skin system is worked on. It's a system called Mutable. They're a Spanish company. They did APB Reloaded, their customization system. So there's lots more that like the customization system has to go, like tattoos on your skin, face scars, like tucking your jeans into your boots, stuff like that, like real detailed level of customization that we hope to add.
What's it like having such a varied development team in terms of just, you said Korean team, a Spanish team, like how does that work? Is there any language barrier issues? Is there any barrier issues at all? Or do you guys just kind of like work on the game and everyone's great?
It just kind of worked out. We have, as I said, we've got a great producer and he kind of keeps everything tied together. And regarding like communications, we have translators in the office and, it's just big email chains and Skype calls every week just to go over things. But, overall it's great. And it's because they're kind of all around the world. It means that the development team kind of is working 24/7.
That's cool.
That always so. And it, as I say, we got to make a game that looks like this in a year, basically. Which, I still can't believe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Some other questions coming out of chat. People are just wondering, will there be microtransactions for these skin customization options? Is that a road that you guys are thinking about going down?
Like I want to create like a skin economy, and there will be crates and skins, probably much more like the CS:GO model. And like you've noticed already when you're playing, that the cost of the crates goes up by quite a lot,
Right.
and that's to kind of put a soft limit on the amount of crates that you can actually buy in the game, so that there is an economy there, that there's not like hundreds of thousands of crates out there. Well, there will be, but that not everyone can have hundreds of crates. So we want to create like skins being valuable, and you're kind of rewarded for playing the game. But we'll announce more about that over the next 6 months. Like, we're not doing proper monetization until we leave early access anyway, so
Sure.
we've got to plan that.
So I
don't know if you guys heard of this great site. It's called PUBG Lotto. I don't know.
You, man. I was gonna make that
before.
joke. Fuck you. I
One
was
second,
literally.
guys.
Yeah, we should actually.
He's out.
He's just
fucking
out.
out.
He's fucking
God.
out.
Sorry for stealing your joke, Jericho. That's the only time I get to talk.
It's fine. It's fine. You did it. You did it just fine.
What Battlegrounds
was-
should actually buy a Lotto website, and that should be how you guys announce it. Is, hey guys, I found this site. Check it out. That would be like the greatest announcement of all time. You should do it. It'd be great.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
a necessary evil, aren't they? Microtransactions are like a good way to keep the team developing further, while tapping into a player base that is already very clearly interested. Like, I understand from a casual outsider's perspective, you're like more microtransactions. Like, well, okay, don't buy them. You can earn the crates currently. I don't know if this will change with in-game rewards. So by winning or doing better, you get more credits, which lets you get crates. So I think in the weekend, I unlocked 4 crates total over 12 hours of playing. I got a bunch of bullshit, like none of the cool stuff, but hey, my leather gloves are now on me at all times. So like, I mean, it's a necessary evil. I personally have never really had a problem with cosmetic only stuff, and I don't think most people would have a problem with that, as long as
I don't know who would have an issue with that. If you can make your
big stuff. I mean, we want to do it that that if we do the crates right, we'll never have to charge for DLCs. That new maps and stuff can be developed without the need to charge anyone, and that's like, we put up servers, and servers cost a lot of money, especially for a large player base. And a lot of people, yes, sales of the game do cover some part of that, but also we spent a lot of money over the last year making the game, and there's like, for us to keep developing the game, there needs to be some kind of like steady income, and
right.
So wait a minute. Your idea is that the people who have the most money will fund free shit for the people that don't have the most money. That's fucking revolutionary, man. That sounds
Robin
awesome.
Hood levels, man.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Fleece the Twitch streamers, get them to pay for servers. That's the new thing. I have to buy a license to stream PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds now, $100.
On the topic of servers, a lot of people are asking in chat. Obviously, with the game in early access, you probably don't have servers across the world, but is that something you want to plan to add?
No, depending on the amount of people in each region during early access, we can spin up servers there.
Okay.
We're using Amazon Web Services, or AWS.
Uh-huh.
Our server engineer, he's a fucking genius. He's basically written server-side code that auto-scales, self-repairs, and writes new servers as it's needed.
Okay.
So we press start and everything just spins up in each region. So if we have enough players in a certain region, we can just spin up servers there. So we've got servers in all regions if the demand is high enough.
All right. Hopefully the guy spamming that question over and over since 45 minutes ago will now stop.
The biggest one, like, I know we talked about it, but the biggest question that everybody's going to have is moving forward is or maybe comment, is that you need to have a certain minimum level of like foliage or shadows, etc. So if I turn my shit down to the bottom, I can't see somebody 400 million yards away because he's just, in a non-rendered bush. And, on the flip side, some of the bushes in the distance currently do look like people when they're not rendered fully.
Yeah, that is really fucking annoying, actually. That happened the first time I played the game. I was like, and there's a guy, and I'm shooting a guy, and nothing's dying. And then she's like, that's a bush, JP.
At this game, I shoot, I think it's this game, I shoot a tree that I think is a person, and it gets me killed. I'm like shooting a tree. There's a guy next to the tree, but I'm shooting the tree like, oh, that's a guy for sure. No blood's coming out. What's going on?
Little knots on the side of trees.
Yeah, that's what I was shooting at. It was a knot.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah. So is that on purpose in the game? To make someone feel always threatened? Because I would always spin around and be like, I think that's a guy. But that kind of happened in other games too, of this style.
I'd love to say yes, but it was more just I wanted the trees to look a bit more natural.
Okay.
So But the fact that I had attention. But again, we do have like when we first put the very low option, there was no foliage, so there was like no grass at all. We want to come to a like grass is something that on ultra versus very low, there's a huge difference. Like it's massive. So we want to come up with a system that will improve the grass. That it really doesn't matter what setting you're on. That it like grass won't come into play, so to speak.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, does having better graphics hinder you because you're
too much?
I see grass right now, and someone who's on a lower setting will not see grass but see the person.
Oh, that's something that's on our mind, and especially for competitive play, we'll need to like implement a minimum standard that everyone plays on. And I think we can do that from Unreal from the server, that we can enforce what the client settings are if you're playing on a ranked server. So, but yeah, we want to come to a good balance that it still looks good but performs really well.
That's good. You mentioned competitive play. What do you guys have plans of? Every once in a while, we'll see a tournament spring up, and you get every streamer and their mother to jump into it. And it's a big event, and you get one of those probably every 6 months or so. Is that going to be something that's more frequent? You guys already have leaderboards inside the game to begin with, so I'm hoping there's going to be like a top 60 leaderboard match or something like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we want to do 3 to 4 events a year, like majors, from the top of our leaderboards. But our main plan with those leaderboards is that we want the community to create leagues. We want we're going to give you the ability to rent servers with leaderboards attached and like a part of our website basically with like JP's league that you can go and see your leaderboard, maybe with your subs or whatever you want to do. So we want to create like an esport from the ground up. We want the community doing it, and if they want to do it, then we can move on from there. But yeah, I do want to do the charity thing a lot. I want to use the game to do big events maybe 4 times a year and get the best players and the best streamers together and raise some serious money for charity.
It's cool stuff.
What about first person locked servers? Because I actually find that I shoot almost That's the other big thing is H1. You go first person for a shotgun because that gun's shit and it doesn't work as intended, and it's a necessity. But you play third person 100% of the time. In this game, you don't play third person unless you get startled. Like you have to aim down sights. It's a tactical shooter. Is there going to be a locked first person only server?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I want to make hardcore great again. I mean, it's
that's how I played, man. I couldn't fucking stand third person servers back in Arma. They drove me crazy.
CHGA boys.
When you would be hiding around a corner, but the other guy's third person, because I'm just used to playing first person. He can just see you sitting there because you hear him, but you don't know where he's at. That shit was infuriating.
Like the broadcast match we did, we see people kind of sitting in the same bush. And because it's first person only, they don't know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Just passing each other 50 meters and they're both looking the wrong way. But, I want to, like, our first person servers will be just first person only and no crosshair. And that'll be it. Maybe a more UI, but, it's going to be for everyone. And it is more intense to play. And it's, you're not going to maybe spend a whole stream doing it. But, I want to make proper first person servers.
Good.
Is that where the top tier skill people, is that where they live is first person only?
Yeah, I mean, even in our like Arma 3 season finals, people consider like the hardcore players the best players. It's like the third person players, they're fine, but it's the first person players that are the best. Some third person players would disagree, but
Yeah, there's always a sake of an argument there. I've completely forgot. Oh, okay, the pre-orders. People were, I think you announced that stuff, and there were limited pre-orders. Do you want to explain the situation a little bit? Because you could do it much better than I could.
I just tried to pre-order right now, and it's fucking gone. I'm like, how
sold out?
Gone? How are they sold out? They're just like little letters.
No, okay. But we need a magic man called Steam to make the little letters. But no, we had like an allocated number of keys that we could do pre-orders with, and they just went. It was like, we were like, okay, we're sold out. What the hell? And because we're going into early access so soon, we just couldn't get any more. So, that was it. And now it just makes that PlayerUnknown skin super rare. I mean, you can't get it anymore basically because it was in the deluxe version. So, again, we were quite surprised. It was a good thing, though.
Is that going to open back up at all before the 23rd?
No.
Okay.
That's it for pre-order.
That's it.
A follow-up
You got
question: If people buy the game on the 23rd when it releases, will they be able to play it? Because I know one of the biggest issues you guys were worried about is server stability, right?
Yeah, no. So that's what we used our code beta.
Nice.
Just
Jared.
the ragdoll. All right, so the ragdolls in this, I saw you said you kind of wanted to do things a little bit bigger, a little bit more. The ragdolls in this game are hilarious, and you should not change them. I've hit people with a car, and they've just ejected, like they've gone to Mars. And then I've shotgunned somebody, they do triple backflips and land on a box. I'm like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh no, we want to keep it, like, the ragdolls that kind of silly. We really do, like, yeah. But regarding serviceability, like, I mean, we're pretty confident now with the servers we have. We've had a few like starting failures over the last few weeks, but we've got those issues sorted now. So on day one, hopefully we'll have a smooth launch. I mean,
you never really know. You don't want to promise anything, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh no, something might happen that like no one foresaw, and it's like okay. But we have a great community. I mean, people, even when we were down for a few hours, people just sending tweets going, "Listen, relax, it's all good. That's what beta's for." So yeah, maybe people are spending money on the game, but
well, that's the thing. Like they do have a right to get a little miffed when they actually pay to be in the beta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of betas, any plans for open beta?
No, just straight to early access. Then servers will be live 24/7. And it's only about 2 weeks away now, so not too long.
Are you doing?
So 2 weeks away, and then early access, everybody gets in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, everyone that can get a key gets in. Everyone that can purchase a key, right? Will it be complete open? Like, will people go?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it will. Okay.
Yeah, completely open on Steam, so anyone can buy.
That's good.
Oh, I was not aware that early access like meant that you could limit how many keys you have.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, early access is just open for everyone. So
The pre-order stuff is what's sold out. You won't be able to pre-order anymore, but on the 23rd you can go to Steam and buy a key just like everyone else and play. That's what I'm understanding.
Do you have or can you share current player base numbers? Like, I know it's in beta and you have a limited amount, but are you anticipating? I know you have a guesstimate where you guys are going to be sitting for this first weekend. I know that H1. I have a small criticism of the fact that there's actually more people watching H1 at any given time than there are ever playing it on Steam, even at its peak time, which is, I mean, fine, but also a little bit interesting. What are you guys looking at for that?
We don't. I mean, I'd love, tens of thousands of people day one. I would like, 50K would be great. That would be kind of. But again, I don't know. We have a good bit of hype built around the game now, and people do seem to want to play. So, I'm hoping for 50K. Don't know if we'll get there, but let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Speaking of like where you think and what's going on, I just want to know personally, how are you feeling? It's in this point of the progress of the game being released and that kind of stuff. Do you feel like you're ahead of the game, behind the game? Do you feel like you're right where you want to be? That kind of stuff.
I think we're kind of where we want to be. There's still a lot of tweaking to go on, but like the world is looking good. Yeah, sure, performance needs to be increased, but like the game itself, the Battle Royale game mode is functioning well, and that just has me relieved. It's like we're at a stage now where we go to early access. The game is relatively solid, and we get to spend early access, adding some new stuff like the vaulting system and some new vehicles and weapons. But overall, we just get a chance to tune the game and just keep improving performance. So yeah, I'm very happy with where we're at.
How many keys did you actually get allocated? Because I mean, you're out now, so I mean,
pre-order
is there a
keys,
final? Yeah, pre-order keys. I mean, sorry.
Well, I can't tell you things like that. Internal company things like I to message people and kind of go, can I? No, I have a system or chain of command here.
Yeah, it's not an indie project.
I was just curious.
Yeah, it's not me and my mod going.
Yeah, it's not an indie project.
Well, and also like it's a paid for thing, so you could like, how many people got keys, and then you can say like, like a percentage of these paid $30, so you can. It's a money thing.
Gotcha. I was just curious. I'm just trying to get a feel for how many people are playing because I've never had a game that feels like, this is taking a while to start. It's always very instant.
It does
the servers are always full, so.
It does.
He just wants to know how many losers he can shit on.
Yeah, how many idiots are going to be playing?
I said like the system we have for the servers, it's kind of clever. So it just looks at the amount of people in the queue, so that it only ever starts up a server when there's like 40 people ready to go. So you don't actually get into the game until there's kind of enough people there and ready to kick the game off, which is why you get those nice short lead-in times.
Right. I don't know how we haven't asked this yet. What's your anti-cheat like?
Oh,
Like,
he's
I mean, what?
Battle Eye, so that's the same
Battle
as
Eye.
Rainbow Six and Arma,
Oh.
Arc, and H1.
Boy.
Okay.
Oh, it's the same one that H1 uses.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're adding up points in each column. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that game. Ooh, no, that
Well,
game.
Like,
I'm just-
Battle Eye itself is a pretty solid anti-cheat. The game it protects as like there could be holes in the game itself, or with Arma, because Arma is open for modding, there's like holes there that they have to leave open because otherwise modding wouldn't be possible. So there's ways in, and fighting cheaters, it's an uphill battle, but Battle Eye I think is one of the better ones out there. You see in Rainbow Six, they've really cut down the amount of cheaters in Rainbow Six. It just depends on the game it's protecting, I think.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully you guys don't run into some of the problems H1 has, because that's one of the frustrating things is, as a player, I don't want to get killed by an invisible guy. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
And as well, like because we have leaderboards and we're tracking so much stuff, we have a data science division in the company, and we'll be able to sit down with them and look at like percentages and accuracy and all this kind of stuff, and have another layer of defense that is more than just Battle Eye.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're super serious about getting.
Well, I know you were back in the Arma 3 days too, so I understand that. Stream sniping, have you figured out how to combat that yet? It's a very small problem, obviously, for streamers, but
Yeah. No, so we'll have matchmaking and proper matchmaking. So like if you guys play a lot, you'll have a rank, and you're all through early access, every game will be ranked, basically. We'll split it off into ranked and unranked after early access, but to get the ELO system tuned, we need to rank everyone during early access. And if you have a high enough rank, these noobs that are in your stream that don't really play or only play when you're playing, they won't have anything of a similar rank, so they'll never be able to get into games with you.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I don't think.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say I don't think you can really stop stream sniping. Like once you know the map, it doesn't matter. You know where you are. Like I know where I am on the map right here. So like.
But as well, like when we won't be just doing a linear queue. So when you're queuing, you'll be split off into separate servers. So like 4 people in a row won't get into the same server. If there's someone queued up behind you, there's a good chance they won't be on the same server behind you. So we'll do our best. But yeah, as you said, it's hard to combat. But some of the techniques we have should combat it a lot.
That makes
looking
sense.
good.
Let's.
Are you pretty locked in on the $30 price point?
Yeah, we're kind of happy with $29.99. That's
Okay.
what we're going with, and that won't change going into full release as well.
Cool.
It won't change. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. I've got kind of a lightning round thing here of different questions from the chat. So, will it ever be ported to console, Xbox One, PS4? Is that something that?
Yeah. Once we finish with the PC version,
Okay.
we go into Xbox and PlayStation.
Are you ever gonna add binoculars?
They're coming in early access. Yeah.
Okay.
We just have that time.
The circle damage, is that going to be tuned at all? Because right now you can't outrun it, and it does a shit ton of damage.
Just be in the circle.
I mean that's a very reasonable answer, to be honest.
He just told you to get good, dude. He just told you to get good.
He didn't tell me to get good. He told the chat to get
one
good.
Thing we've had that a lot for the circle. Like people are saying the circle is tough, but I like that. It's like if you're not paying attention to where the circle is, and we give you enough things on screen to let you know, then you're gonna die. It's like it really, especially in the ending towards the end of the rounds, it really does get tough. We may slow down the circle a little bit
At the beginning.
Towards the end.
Oh, towards the end. Okay.
Yeah, towards the end, because you have 10 minutes to get into it from when it drops. So
Sure.
you should be able to run across the map in that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But again, that'll be changed.
Any bigger queuing system besides duos? Will you go 3v3 or threes? Will you go fives? We've seen that fives in H1Z1. It's kind of a clusterfuck.
We've said we'll have we've told people to squad up for this weekend. So this coming weekend we'll have bigger team mode available. We'll announce some more stuff on the dev blog tomorrow. But I'm pretty excited for what we have.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. And then someone was brought up the idea. Right now in the game, there is Twitch parachutes. When you open your parachute, you see the Twitch logo there, and it's got a purple parachute and everything. Will there be more in-game advertisements kind of like this in the future, or is that just special because of your relationship with Twitch?
That was just because of PAX East, because
Okay.
we were there and sponsored the party, and we did the Twitch glitch for that. But going forward, you never know. I mean, we have a pretty complex skin system, so even down to stuff like vehicles can be skinned and stuff like that. So you never know.
Cool.
This AK brought to you by Taco Bell. Taco Bell, fourth meal.
You just put the T button, then just puts a taco in your mouth. You just see a third hand come out from nowhere. It just puts a taco in your mouth. Tucker, what is this gunfight?
Bro, all right, can I explain that guy?
That was the craziest gunfight.
That guy had an S12 whatever Sega shotgun. How he missed me when I'm in a doorway makes no sense. He hit me once, and I had level 3 police armor, I think level 2. So I was pretty stacked, and he hit my helmet off. But that guy was terrible. It was horrifying.
Here's a question: the in-game UI, is this kind of where you guys are settled at right now? Do you have plans to change this? Do you want to change this? Where are you guys feeling about it right now in the inventory system?
It needs to be tweaked a little bit. Some changes made, but overall, I'm kind of happy with the way it works. It's simple. It just, it's not trying to be anything. It's just a UI, and it seems to work quite well.
Okay.
There are a few tweaks and changes I want to make, but apart from that, I'm pretty confident with it, or happy with it.
Cool.
Nice.
That was most of the stuff I pulled from chat. So, Tucker or Zeke, any other questions for our friend here before we let him go?
I mean, just you've been promoting this for just exclusively for a while now. I just want to know what is the question you get the most?
Why are you ripping off H1?
Yeah, I'm sure that makes sense. I'm sure that's very common. I think that any game in the BR world is why are you ripping off the last game that came out that was in the BR world?
Yeah, but it's especially ironic that they're asking him why he's ripping off H1.
Yeah, yeah. Still, though, I mean,
it's got to be a little sweet.
No. The funniest thing is myself and Adam Clegg from H1 are such good friends, and the same with Brian Hicks from DayZ, and H1 was a DayZ killer when it came out, and now we're a H1 killer, and it's we don't want to kill each other's games. It's H1 is great for what they've done with my game mode, and we're not aiming to try to clone it and kill it because they're different game modes. I keep comparing it. It's like League and Dota. They're both MOBAs, but they exist in the same genre and they're still super successful. And I look at it the same as that we're not trying to kill anyone or clone anyone. We're just, trying to make a good game and my vision for Battle Royale.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy, by the way. The difference between League and as somebody who played a little bit of both, and I know JP plays Dota, one was geared towards, Dota, you make one mistake and your team is all dead and the game is fucked. League, you have some forgivability. It's less about, not to get too into it, but the two gameplays.
They're different games.
Watch it. Oh yeah.
Nice.
They
offer up enough of a gameplay experience that there's a difference.
Different.
Yeah.
So by the way, the fact that your cars work, so fucking great. I got my friend here.
Yeah, the cars. I was actually impressed with the fact that even boats are in game.
And they work.
Well, I had a hard time getting into one the other day. But I'm sure that'll be fixed come couple of weeks or months from now. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens when this game comes out to H1Z1 because and player unknown, feel free to just not even jump in this conversation because it's going to be kind of awkward. But I really feel like if you get all of the people that stream H1Z1 on Twitch, the Dr. Disrespects and all them, to jump over into Battlegrounds, no one will give a fuck about H1Z1 anymore because everyone already, those streams have already become let's shit on H1Z1 for 8 hours and play the game at the same time. Yet when they play Battlegrounds, it's oh, this is actually this game is actually not bad. It has more promise right now than where H1Z1's at.
I know. I think H1 are going to make improvements. They'd be silly not to. But also H1 is just far more for those that like more of a Twitch shooter, and it's more high action all the time, and for some viewers they prefer that, and for us it's a little bit slower and a little bit more tactical, but it's I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it'll fill the same role like League and Dota. I think that's the best analogy I've heard. They can both exist in the same space. It is a very narrow genre, and many have tried to pop up and fill that void, like Dawngate. Who remembers that one? But it's as long as H1 continues to cater towards their play style and their user base, they won't compete for the same people that are trying to play Battlegrounds. It's inherently a different play style, and you'll know from the second you get in the game how everybody plays. You're like, well, fuck, like I can't run and gun. I got to play tactical. So I think they'll both be fine.
That makes sense.
You spot the H1 players that jump out of fast-moving cars and
yeah, totally.
Never get.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. March 23rd. That's what, 2 or 3 days after Mass Effect Andromeda. Is there any other big multiplayer release right now that you guys would have to be going up against? I guess Quake Champions is coming out soon, and whatever they're calling their thing.
Kind of. We've been looking at it. It is kind of quiet.
Yeah, for MP games, it might be a good time.
Single player. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll do. We have, as I said, we've got a good deal of hype now on Twitch, and a lot of interesting people are playing that I wasn't expecting. I said, like, all the CS:GO pros, like Shroud.
I saw Shroud playing.
Yeah, and like those guys are loving it. So
this style of game with Arma, there was such a barrier of entry when it came to actually just playing the game, because you had to get Arma, you had to mod Arma, you had to make sure that the game ran, which means that you had to do a fuck ton of stuff because that engine was so awful and so oddly optimized that it took forever to get it just to run well. And here you just download the game and press go, and it for the most part just works. So I think that barrier of entry being removed will definitely help.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah. Well, cool. I don't have anything else. I don't know about Jericho or Zeke if you guys want to do final questions.
Yeah, go for it, Zeke.
There's just this one dude keeps asking the same question because he's an Unreal Engine developer. He wants to know, are you going to be, and I don't know what this means, are they instancing houses and trees or just destroyed vehicles?
I'm not sure, actually. That sounds like above my knowledge level. I can get it checked out.
That's right. I figured it was.
Yeah. I mean, what they've done is like you said something about like the cookie cutter about some other games and stuff. With our houses, it's really cool. They've written kind of algorithms that, the paint color or the destroyed walls or what you see on the house is kind of, it depends on where it is on the map. So if you move it slightly on the map, it'll change the way it looks. So like they have the graffiti and all this, so like no matter where the house is, it'll look different to every other house. And it's really cool at like dynamically populating the house as well to make it look somewhat unique, even though we're kind of using the same house models for a lot of the map.
Sure.
Oh, and the other thing we really want to push is that we want to add more destruction. So that, as Lyric called it, the fuckboy cabin, that lovely little house with the windows, we want to make that destructible. So,
good, because that thing's so, you somebody's in there and you're like, well, I guess we'll just sit here until one of us decides to go in and die. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we want you to be able to shoot down the walls, and the same with the yellow houses, that you'll be able to have destruction on the walls of the houses and stuff like that, and proper penetration. And even with the ballistics of weapons, we want to add air drag. But that's really complicated mathematics to do that because the projectiles and stuff. So, but we do want to add it just to give that extra bit of bullet drop.
Okay. I guess my last two questions are, currently you can't stack any wearables, so you can't like grab an extra helmet in case you get into a fight. You looking to change that?
We were. I was looking. I was in two minds to do that, because like some people seem to like it because it's like it makes you value what you have, and you have to like hunt down other players to get better armor if you lose it. The other part of me wants you to be able to stack maybe one helmet or one armor, and that's it. That it's. But again, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, my only thing was that it'd be nice to choose one of them, because once you get to like top 10, there's nothing to loot in this field. And, if you got into a gunfight and you have damaged armor, you're not getting more armor that game because everybody's going to be damaged. So, I mean, I get it. But final question, if you know it, is what's the server tick rate?
We're running 60 hertz at the moment. But now, currently, because of the state of server optimization, it doesn't quite run that fast.
Okay.
But that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for 60 tick servers.
Nice.
Sweet.
good to hear.
Much. Yeah, great. Good.
That's good stuff.
Also, yeah, I guess, well, to tack onto that, the ability for private servers to run higher tick rate, if you want a competitive on 120.
We'll look into it. Like, I mean,
Okay.
especially for the competitive end of things, we want it to be as fair as possible, and the faster tick, the
Right.
better it is. But yeah, we simulate a lot of the stuff that we do on the server anyway, so it'll be a challenge. But yeah, I have faith we can do it.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's all the questions I got, man. You
All right.
you killed it.
Yeah, I was watching. I was gonna wait. I was gonna maybe ask one more question to see if you kept trying to follow this guy on screen, but no, you.
He did.
You hit the shot. You hit the shot.
Yeah. That's it for this little
So that's it for this interview and this game, I think. Did you?
Hey, this is a good question for me, actually.
Okay.
Someone said, are there any plans for a practice mode or shooting range so we can get the feel of the guns without pressure of other players?
Oh yeah, listen, we want to put in a shooting range. There's just an issue at the moment with the way the game has been kind of developed, that we just can't do single player at the moment. It's like a big problem we have to fix. But once that's fixed, we want to have like a single player shooting range, basically, that you can go in and experiment with all the weapons and even maybe some AI for you to shoot. But
nice.
Because
yeah,
that was like not to mention another game, but that was really, really beneficial for me in Overwatch to like go down there and work with, not that I got very good, but I got familiar with like
Totally,
the cues, the special abilities, and all that kind of shit.
I mean, they kind of have that in the pregame now. Zeke, you can run around and grab items and grab weapons and stuff while you're waiting for the clock to click down, and also people to join. But it's definitely not the full, test out every gun, see how it handles type experience. It's I'm gonna go grab this gun and just shoot this guy in the back of the head for the entire bullets, and then the map will load. So
yeah,
you can kind of do that now. Yeah.
We want to give you a firing range that you can go in and practice, and we also have there's a game mode I had on Arma 3 Battle Royale War, which was basically just an extended version of Battle Royale. So you have 30 minutes of respawning at the start, and then once the blue zone locks, then you can't respawn anymore. So more like a death match with a Battle Royale ending.
You make me so excited.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. Well, cool.
I have a lot of experimenting this stuff in Arma 3. It's like Street Fight we have, and a few other game modes that I've kind of tested on Arma 3, and they work. So and as well with the island that we've made, we've put in lots of locations that it'll be quite easy to generate like a King of the Hill type game mode, or Capture the Flag, or Conquest, or any of these, because the way the map is set up. So
nice.
Well, good stuff. I'm looking forward to the launch on the 23rd. Zeke, you got one more, I think, because you're holding the one
But
more finger.
it's not a question.
Okay.
I just want anybody who's watching out there to know this isn't like a paid segment for Battlegrounds.
Oh, you didn't get.
There's a couple of reasons why we asked PlayerUnknown to be here and that kind of stuff. One, because the game was fucking everywhere at PAX, and it's like the most hype shit right now outside of Zelda or maybe Horizon.
He sucked my dick.
And secondly, he sucked all of our dicks. He's good with the balls. I got to say, I've had a lot of BJs to get on the show, and he really pays attention to the balls.
Yeah, he's
all
great
in the tongue, man. It's all in the tongue.
Yeah.
But also, because I would, as far as the video game world, I would consider PlayerUnknown like a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he's a really cool dude to hang out with and drink with. I know from experience.
Yeah.
I think everybody does,
I think everyone does as well, right? It's also just you don't get that much, at least for us, we don't get that much of an opportunity too often to talk with developers of games on Twitch that are doing well. So anytime we can pick your brain about this stuff and give you a little bit of love for a game coming out, et cetera, we love to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I noticed, actually, that a lot of people were saying, the people streams, that we were paying people to stream our game. And we haven't, because we've had such a good amount of organic growth among, streamers and stuff like that. We've been lucky that, that people are just playing the game because they want to try it out, rather than us having to sponsor guys to do it. And we've been lucky in that regard.
Yeah. I think for the most part, there's a large group of streamers that have played a BR game and are always willing to check out a new BR game. And play that for an extended amount of time, and so that's kind of what you're getting at. And it seems like everyone's enjoying Battlegrounds, so you'll probably continue to see more of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just add more explosions.
Yeah, just get more explosions in there. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
More funny cars. Just make sure the cars are always hilarious and
As I
Keep
said,
the
we have a
physics as
motorbike.
is.
yeah.
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 We have the motorbike with the sidecar coming in. So there's like
Oh,
option
nice.
with and without.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Like, as you know, Bike Man's father passed away last year. And
Oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I took a picture of him in, I think it was PAX West last year or one of the PAXs. And the picture of him was like really cool. So I decided, like, on the motorbike, it has like an inscription on the motorbike that says the Charles Ronald Troubadour edition, and a sort of a silhouette of his father, sort of branded on
Nice.
the gas in the motorcycle. So his dad will be in the game, and being able to do little things like that is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It shows
Definitely.
your connection with the Twitch world is real and not just something that is there for monetary reasons, obviously. So that's good.
Oh yeah,
It's good.
I love you guys. Wouldn't be here without you guys.
Yeah. I appreciate you
You're
coming on the
welcome.
show, man. You want to do some shout outs here at the end before we let you go?
I mean, yeah, check out
See if this loaded right.
the game. Twitter is PU Battlegrounds. You can find us, just play Battlegrounds around the web. I do want to say thank you to Poopy Queen or Sammy, our community manager and overall great woman, like force of nature. She's been doing outstanding work with our mixer and the community. And thank you to all the players and streamers and content creators that have supported us over the last month. It's been awesome. I mean, really blown us away.
Fantastic stuff. All right, that'll do it here for the first half of the show. Thanks so much to Player Unknown for coming on. Good luck with the launch on the 23rd. You can grab a key and jump in the game. You can't pre-order it, though. No more pre-orders. Just wait till the 23rd. Just wait till the 23rd.
early
You can
access.
play it. Yeah. We're going to come back talking about all the stuff that Twitch has been doing, probably some Power Rangers. I don't want to talk too much about it, though. I'd rather just watch it. So we need to end the show faster. And then talk about all the games that we've been playing as well. So don't go back. Don't go back. What? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I skipped a couple words here with Drop Frames. We'll see you guys in just a bit.